Example 2. Below is an activity or project network. The weights indicate hours it takes to complete each activity. The following table is missing some headings. The four headings are critical, earliest starting time, EST, float time, LST, take away EST, and latest starting time. Use the numbers and the activity network above to determine which headings belong where. Well, given that that's a question and we've got some ones that say yes, I'm pretty sure that's going to be critical. So it's just these other numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at and draw up some boxes to indicate where the earliest starting times are. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by identifying the earliest starting times. So for A and B, the earliest starting time, because they're at the beginning, it's going to be 0. So if we can get started on them as soon as possible. And then all the others are dependent on those. So the earliest start time to get to do activity C, activity H, or activity E is entirely dependent on A because they all share the same predecessor. So you'll notice here A, and A. So because they all dependent on the same predecessor, that's going to be 3, 3, and 3. For activity F, we need to choose, it'll either come from, we got the two predecessors, which is B and E. So B takes 2 hours, 0 plus 2 hours is 2. But in order for E to be completed, we need to do 3 plus 2. Why is that? Because in order for E to be completed, A has to be completed first. So therefore, we have the choice of running 2 or 5. So that's going to be a 5. Remember that everything is as slow as the slowest predecessor. Then for activity K, we have the choice of either doing 3 plus 2, which is 5, or 5 plus 1, which is 6. So we go with 6. Why is that? Because the choices were to either to start activity K via C and H. 3 plus 2, 2 from the H activity would make that 5 hours. However, it's only as slow as the slowest predecessor. And the predecessor we've established the earliest starting time is 5 hours. So 5 plus 1 is 6. And then for these other ones, thankfully, there's only one option. So to complete, the earliest starting time for J is going to be 3 plus 2, which is 5. The earliest starting time for L is going to be 5 plus 2, which is 7. The earliest starting time for M is going to be 6 plus 1, which is equal to 7. Where am I getting these pluses is look at the weights. So J is 3 plus 2, so the previous earliest starting time, plus 2, 5, and so on. So then we get to this final junction here, and it's either going to be 3 or 7 plus 3, which is equal to 10 via L, or we're going to put in 7 plus 2, which is equal to 9 via M. And remember, it's only as slow as the slowest predecessor. So therefore, the earliest finish time for this is going to be 10. So to identify which of these columns I would need, I would just have to look at my, whichever ones match these numbers here. So we've got a 3, a 3, and a 3 for A. Unfortunately, that column doesn't match up, nor does that one. So this one's definitely the EST, the earliest starting time. Now, we can go and fill in from back scanning. However, you could also just look at the mathematics. If the float time is the latest starting time, take away the earliest starting time, then let's just do a subtraction. So let's have a look at this number. So we're suggesting that float time is the latest starting time, take away the earliest starting time. So either 5 take away 3 is equal to 2, or 2 take away 3 is equal to 5. Well, from that we can see that it's definitely going to be this. So that's going to be the float time. And this here is going to be the latest starting time. course, you could also go and check to make sure the latest starting time is by doing the backward scanning. So we just need to identify a few things. First of all, how long does it take to finish the whole project? We got that. That was 10 hours. But what does the float time signify? So if it's the later starting time take away the earlier starting time, what does that mean? Well, of course, what that means is that is the amount of time that I have spare, the slack time, if you like, that I have before I have to complete the project. Or, in other words, it's the largest possible delay an activity can take without delaying the whole project.